Hello, students of Standard 10th. Today we will learn the last part of your chapter, that is the parliamentary proceedings. Till now we had spoken about the basics of the parliament, the composition, the tenure, the elections and many other parts. And we had also spoken about the functions and working of the parliament. Today we will speak about the parliamentary proceedings, how the parliamentary sessions are held. We will also speak at the end of the session about the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha's special powers. So let's start with the first concept, that is the bills. Now when we speak about bills, you already know from your 8th standard portion that bills are the rough drafts which are put forward in the parliament for discussions. There are different forms of bills, but before we go to that, let us try to understand the definition of bills which is given in your textbook. A bill is a proposal of legislature. Okay, a proposal of legislature is called as bill, which means that any proposal put forward for in front of the parliament by the members of the parliament is called as bill. Now let us try to understand the classification of the bills. There are lots of classification of bills, different names by which the bills are known. But today we won't be focusing on all, we will focusing on the 4 names or 4 categories under which the bills are known. The first 2 categories are the government bills and the private member bills. Now when we speak about government bills, these are the bills which are put forward by the Council of Ministers. And when we speak about the private members bills, these are the bills which are put forward by the members of the parliament, whether it is Lok Sabha or it is Rajya Sabha, but they are not members of Lok Sabha, Council of Ministers. The other classification which we divide the bills are ordinary bills and money bills. This classification is done on the basis of procedure, how it is followed. In fact, it is how or where it is initiated, on the basis of which these names are given. First is ordinary bills and the second name is money bills. When we speak about ordinary bills, they are the discussions or the bills which are related to the tax systems of India, the expenditure of the income of the country and about the public funds. These bills can be only initiated in Lok Sabha. It cannot be initiated in Rajya Sabha. Discussions are held in Rajya Sabha also, but the initiation is done only in Lok Sabha. When it comes to ordinary bills, any bills which are not the money bills can be roughly categorized into ordinary bills. Regarding these bills, they are either initiated by Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. There is no specific rule where Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha should start that initiation. Now let us try to understand the proceedings of ordinary bills. Now when we speak about proceedings of ordinary bills have to go through roughly around 6 stages of the readings and assents. Okay, so the first reading which we have is called as the introduction. Now in this also there are different steps. The first step is notice to the speaker. You already know that speaker of the house, whether it is speaker of Lok Sabha or the chairman or the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha, they have the power to give time, date to any proceedings to takes place. So the initial notice should go to the speaker. When it comes to ordinary bills, the public bills or the government bills, the Council of Ministers, if they are putting forward, they can directly put forward to the Speaker. But when it comes to private member bills, these MPs have to give at least 1 month in notice in advance to the Speaker. Once the Speaker agrees to discuss this issue, the Speaker will give the date and time for the discussion. On the specific day, the mover begs leave of the House, which means the mover will thank the Parliament for giving the chance to put forward the bill. Now, once the MP or the mover thanks the Parliament, is or she will start the speech telling the details of the bills, after which this introduction of the bill is put to vote in the Parliament. Okay, whether it is Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, within that house the voting will be done, and once the voting either for the bill or against the bill it goes, it will decide the future of that bill. If it is accepted with majority vote, it will be considered as formally introduced in the Parliament, and more discussion, more work will be carried on that bill. Now let us try to understand the next stage what we have. The next stage which we have is called as the committee stage. Now committee stage, when you understand the word committee, a group of people which will try to understand, read, study and come up with the report. But it is not every time they have the same role. Sometimes the bill is directly or immediately taken up in the Parliament for the second reading, where they have discussions. Sometimes or many times a selected committee within that house is done, and those start to study and come up with the report. Same ways, many times a joint committee is held of both the houses, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, combined together, and they come up with the report. Or many times such reports, or the bills are put forward in the public, where the scholars will do the reading, do some research, and they will come up with the report. Once the report is made, it goes to the third stage, that is the second reading. Now second reading, it contains 4 steps. First, the committee's report will be discussed in the Parliament. There will be question and answers, there will be lots of discussions. Each point, each clause will be read one by one, and each clause, whether there is any amendment needed or not, will be discussed. Whether it should be discarded or accepted will be discussed. And finally the voting is done on each and every point. Only when these points are accepted one by one, okay, it goes to the third stage, that is the third reading or the final reading. Now they do not have clause by clause discussion, but the whole bill together is discussed in the house. They have the discussion on this, on the bill in general, and they vote. Once they get the majority vote, the bill is put forward to the Speaker of the House or the Chairman of the House, who will sign and accept the bill, which will go to the next step, that is the discussion in the second house. Let us say the discussion begins in Lok Sabha, it will be sent to the Rajya Sabha. If it begins in Rajya Sabha, it will go to Lok Sabha, where they will have same steps of reading: first reading, committee stage, second reading, third stage. If they vote after third reading, if they get majority, then the bill will be put forward or will be sent to the President for his assent, his or her assent. If there is disagreement, then there will be joint session which will be held where both the houses will come together, they will discuss, they will debate, and they will vote together whether it is for or against. And if that too happens with some positive feedback, okay, then it goes to the president's assent. Now president assent, when it goes to president, can directly sign on it, agreeing each and every point, or the president feel that okay, if it is not, he can reject it and he can or she can send it back to the parliament for reconsideration. Now what will happen next is that once it is sent back, the discussions will be held, both the stages all the stages in first house and the second house, or Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, either where it has begun. Discussions will be held again. Amendment, if one should be made, will be made. It will be debated, it will be voted, and suppose if it is also again passed, it will go to the president for his assent, where the president has to give his or her assent. But the thing is that president can also propose addition, deletion, or any changes to be made in the bill, but it is not compulsory for any of the houses whether to accept these proposals. This is how the ordinary bills are discussed and they are converted into acts. Now let us try to understand the money bills or the budget. Now money bill, when you speak about, it is put forward or introduced by the finance minister of India, but before that the finance minister has to take the prior permission of the president. In fact, the budget which the finance minister discusses is not his or her budget, it is the representation of the president which he or she does in the parliament. Once the parliament, so in Lok Sabha, this bill is introduced, it is open for discussion, second readings they have, third reading they have, then it is sent to Rajya Sabha for discussion. Rajya Sabha has only 14 days to discuss on it. Okay, they can give any recommendations. Whether Rajya Sabha gives any recommendation or they fail to give any recommendation within 14 days, Lok Sabha will carry on with the discussions. And once these discussions are held and voting are held, the bill is sent to the president's assent. And we already know the procedure how the president has to follow. Let us try to understand the special features of budget. Now when we speak about the special features of budget, okay, the first thing which we need to know is estimate expenditure discussion. Now whenever there is any budget to be passed, the finance minister and the whole parliament will first discuss about the estimate of expenditure for whole year, okay, which will include the salaries of high dignitaries, or these are called as consolidated funds, which will be used for discussions. But there will be also estimates which will be called as demands for grants, okay, from each and every department, which will be discussed and which will be put to vote, whether they want some changes, whether they want to add, subtract, reject, those will be all put into vote. Now let us try to understand voting of demands. Okay, when we speak about voting of demands, we are discussing about voting on demands of grants. The first thing what will happen is that each ministry, okay, a separate demand for grant is made by each ministry, whether it is finance department, whether it is defense department, or many other ministries. They will put forward their demands for grant. The house discusses the demands in detail. They will have the discussion in detail. Then during the stage, the member get an opportunity to move a proposal for a specific cut in the demands of grants for a particular ministry. So they might ask for economic cut from the main budget. Okay, it is known as economic cut. Okay, so this demand, the cut which they ask, is called as economic cut. Now let us try to understand the next concept, that is token cut motion. The member of Lok Sabha can point out flaws and lapses of a particular ministry by moving token cut motion when demands of grants are made. So if there is any defects, okay, the other members of the parliament, they can ask for token cut motion. Okay, this might also force to show there are shortcomings in the working of the government, and which might also take to the no confidence motion. Now let us try to understand. That is something called as the appropriate bill. Okay, appropriate bill is intended to give authority to the government to incur expenditure from and out of the consolidated fund in India. Okay, let us try to understand the next part, that is the finance bill. Finance bill is the second part of the budget, is related to raising income for the government. Okay, so it is something where the government can raise the money. Okay, this can be either levying tax, or they might also decrease, increase other source of income they can increase. Okay, it is a part of the money bill. Now let us try to understand the exclusive powers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. First with Rajya Sabha. Now when we speak about Rajya Sabha, you already know that the legislative powers which the houses have, I had spoken that union list, concurrent list comes under the powers of union parliament. When it comes to state parliament, there are certain powers which are there with the union parliament. Okay, one of the power is with Rajya Sabha, where they have the take certain concept or certain subjects under their power. When they feel that the state government is not working properly, they can interfere, they can take that issue at the union level. Then they can also create new all India services. Now all India services, few example, IPS officers, or you can say IAS exams. Okay, such type of post, any new post to be created linked to the Indian civil service. Okay, the Rajya Sabha has the power to create new services. Along with that, what happens is that sometimes proclamation of emergency, when it comes to, once the proclamation is made either by the recommendation of Lok Sabha, okay, or without a recommendation of Lok Sabha, the president has to put forward in front of the parliament, where the parliament will accept, that is the Lok Sabha will accept whether this emergency is proper or not. But in case if the Lok Sabha is not there in working, or if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, during that time Rajya Sabha has the power to take that place, and they can either accept or reject the emergency proclamation which is done by the president. Now let us try to understand the powers, exclusive powers of Lok Sabha. So when we speak about exclusive powers of Lok Sabha, it is only in Lok Sabha that no confidence motion will be passed, not the Rajya Sabha. It isn't Rajya Sabha who has the power to pass the no confidence motion. Now when it comes to money bill, the discussion can be only initiated in Lok Sabha, not in Rajya Sabha. So with this chapter is over. Thank you.